Hey, what's up? This is Matt Deets, and this is Agency Launch. This is the show where I tell you what it's like to run an insurance agency. So we talk about sales and marketing, and staffing and retention, and everything that I've learned in 19 years of running an agency. Hey, I got something free for you today. Hey, are you getting yelled at by your clients a little bit more than you're used to? Like, we're in a pretty heavy rate cycle, right? Where we're taking a lot of rates. So I'm going to give you a letter that you can email to your clients. It's one that I've written myself. It's one that I'm using in my agency, and it's getting a really nice response from my clients. This letter shows why they bought from you. So do me a favor and send me a text, 208-213-8809, and write the word email, and I will send you a link to this letter. All right, there you go. On with the show. All right, I got something for you today. I got another feather to put in your cap. I got another tool to put in your toolbox. I wanted to introduce you to Brightco. Brightco is an online jewelry insurance carrier, and they are making your life easier and your customers' lives easier. How? Well, quoting is super easy. You can do a quote in like 2 minutes by answering 6 questions. All their policies are backed by an AM Best A+ rated insurance carrier. Renewals are automatic. Claims will not be reported on a Clue report. That is huge. Their plans offer $0 deductibles. They have 125% replacement cost value. They cover mysterious disappearance. It's everything you want in your jewelry coverage. So do me a favor. If you want to get appointed or check them out, go to bright.co/Matt Deets. That's bright.co/MATTDIETZ and get in. Hey, what's up? Okay, I wanted to talk today a little bit about staffing. So, have you ever had, or maybe you have, an employee right now who may be on the fence? You have this feeling that like the gas is running out of the tank, right? Or, you know, there's been a slip in their performance and you don't know why, and you're not sure how to handle it or what to do. So I'm going to tell you a few things about staffing that I've learned, and you know, you can do with it what you'd like. So staff's one of the toughest things that we have to do, right? Is to find good people and then to keep them, right? When I started my career years ago, my wife and I had this very green notion that we were going to just hire someone and they were going to come with us all the way to the end of our career. And that's probably because that's like what our parents did, right? Like my dad had somebody working for him in his business for like 30 years. And like people didn't jump jobs, I don't believe, as much as they did in like 70s and 80s when my parents were working. It's a different world now. Now that I've been doing this for 19 years, I have a small sample size, but it's been my experience that, you know, employees will stick around like an average of 3 years. Okay. If you get them over 3 years, you know, you're playing with house money. Okay. I've seen it happen a number of times where like the 3-year period shows up and it's like a switch gets flipped and you're like, uh-oh, where are we at? Oh man, the 3-year period, damn it. So, I've seen that it's happened like clockwork a few times. The other thing too that I want to tell you about that was important for me to learn is that your employees are not perfect. Okay. There's no such thing as a perfect employee. Everybody has their stuff that they bring to the office. Everybody's got their quirks, you know, their personality, challenges. Everyone has their bad days. Everyone has things that maybe they just will never get or never do right, even though it may not be, you know, bad. And what I've learned is if the employee is doing well and your agency is doing well and you like working with them, you know, take those quirks, take those things, do what you can to train it out of them. But sometimes you can't, you know, and that's okay. Like you got to accept some of these folks for exactly who they are. As long as they're helping you and you enjoy being around them, like if they're hitting the goals that you are giving them, you like having them in the office, like that's generally enough for me. Okay. I've had some employees that have done really well for me, and maybe they're like really slow in some places, and they never could quite get up to speed to the rate that I do things, which is fast. Like I want to get a number as fast as I can. And I've had some staff members that are very meticulous with their underwriting, and they will spend, 2 hours doing something that would take me 10 minutes. And as much as that drives me crazy, they would write the good policies, and they were great with customers. And so I kind of had to let that go. That's important. So I want to give you one piece of advice that if you have an employee that is faltering and, God, you're getting to that point where you don't know if they're going to, you don't know if they're committed. You don't know if they're going to make it, much longer. You've tried some, corrective actions. You've sat down with them and talked with them maybe once or twice lightly. Hey, is everything okay? This part of the job is challenging. There's a counselor that comes with being a boss. If you want to do it right, I think, you can't let people, you got to be support, for your team. And if that's not a strength of yours, I would encourage you to learn that skill. It will serve you well, But I've done this a few times with employees where if they're not doing well, you sit them down and you have a conversation. It's like, hey, look, I need your numbers to come up. You're significantly below average, and it's been long enough for me to have this conversation with you. Like, and I hate having these conversations, and I'll tell them that. I'm like, I hate having these conversations. Like, I love you, but like, I hate having these conversations. So what do you need from me? How can we make this better? And because there's always, especially for salespeople and producers, it's like they have a number they have to hit, and it's the easiest thing to measure their performance on. Like, are they hitting their number? That's one of the main ways that I measure performance. Okay. Are they hitting their premium goal? So once you have that conversation, most of the times they're like, yeah, I know. They know it. They'll admit it, but you got to call them on it. So, you have that conversation. I know. And then maybe there'll be a spike. Maybe there won't. If there's not a spike, or if it continues to happen, the one line that I found is the most productive when it comes to knowing if this person's going to make it or not is you sit them down again and you're like, hey, listen, and you got to do it. You can't do it too offensively. You can't come at them. You come at it from a place of like concern, be like, hey, I got a question for you. I need you to be honest with me. Okay. Let's see, how would you say this properly? Do you still want to work here? That question right there packs a wild punch, okay? Especially if they don't see it coming. And it's okay if they don't see this coming. You don't throw this question at them when the problem starts, right? You try and help them. You can't just throw that at them and be like, well, do you even want to work here? You have to the timing has to be right. And if you already had one or two kind of corrective conversations along the way and it's not being fixed, this is the haymaker that you throw at them. Okay. It's an honest question. Okay. And it's a question that the employee absolutely cannot hide from. Okay. Because you got to pay attention to their reaction immediately. So don't ask the question and look away. You look them dead in the eyes. Like, do you still want to work here? What they do over the next 1 to 3 seconds is very important. Okay. If they come out and they're like, and they get defensive in all the right ways. So like, oh my God, yes, please. This is like the best job I've ever had. I desperately want to work here. Yes, yes, yes. Like if it's an immediate response, you should be good. Okay. Then you carry on and you have, the hard conversation, and you do it without emotion. Okay. You're like, look, I want you to be here too. This number is all I care. Well, this number is very important to me. Like, you've got to hit this number. It's the number that you and I agreed on when we started. It's the number that you and I talked about when I interviewed you. It's the number that we've talked about twice in the past month. It's really important. It's how I can afford to pay you. Okay. We got to get you there. Okay. I want you to stay here too. So I need you to recommit. Okay. That's best. I mean, that's a good result, right? If you do that, you don't know what's going to happen, but you know their heart is in it, at least. If there is any sort of pause when you ask that question, hey, do you want to work here? And they kind of pause and they look up and away and they're like, I don't know anymore. Now we have a different conversation. Okay. Now you place the ad right on LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever you're doing it, because that person has 1 foot out the door. You still have to have the conversation about the number. Like, you got to hit this number. I'll tell you what, we're going to have this conversation one more time. If you can't hit that number and you give them, you give them the number and you give them the date, if you can't hit this number, by the end of next month, I got to start looking somewhere else. Once you have that conversation, they will generally not make it until the end of the next month. Okay. They're done. I've seen it. And it's good. They're doing you a favor. Okay. Their time has run out. Their fuse has gone all the way down. Their tank is empty. Whatever dumb euphemism you want to put in there, you go ahead and do it. But that's okay. There's a start point and an end point to your team. Okay. You're going to be the constant in your agency, so the question, do you still want to work here? It's a whopper, and it's one that I would encourage you to use in a pinch. Use it very tactfully, and it will give you clear answers, because you don't want to guess anymore, right? You don't want to be walking around on eggshells. They can't hide from that question. Okay. It's a good one. So there you go. That's what I got for you today. My name's Matt. This is Agency Launch. You can find me all over the place. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on X, and no, actually I'm not on X anymore. I jumped onto Threads, okay, which is Facebook's X, right? Threads is pretty cool. Check it out. So I'm on Threads and Instagram at Deets Agency. Don't forget to send me a text, 208-213-8809 and say email. Text me the word email, and I'll send you a resource on how to help handle some of those renewals that are painful right now. And don't forget to check me out on Agency Launch if you want some help accelerating your career significantly faster than it's moving right now. I can help you with that too. All right, there you go. Thanks a lot. Keep up the good work.